The Bicycle Academy is a frame building school. We teach people how to make bicycle frames. And it doesn't matter if they're a novice or an enthusiast or a pro, we can help them. I got the idea for the Bicycle Academy because I, as an enthusiast, wanted to learn how to make bicycle frames myself. And had a look around at the courses that were available and realised that there weren't all that many, and the ones that existed worked on the basis that you made one frame. And that was your only frame, and you probably wouldn't do it again. But I thought, well, once I've done it, I'm probably going to like it, at least I hope so, and want to make more of them. So I figured that it'd be better if something else existed that allowed you to make more frames. And so that's what I tried to create. I had the idea November 2010, and then on 2nd of July 2012 we opened for our first student. Student books on a course with us, and they vary from 1 day to 11 days. At the moment we've been teaching a 4-day course. That's the most popular course that we've offered. So come along and they start the week with quite probably no knowledge whatsoever, and by the end of the week not only have they learnt an awful lot, but they'll have made a bicycle. But quite uniquely, we don't let them keep that bicycle, we actually give that to charity. The people can come back to the Bicycle Academy and have use of the facility, so they can hire benches by the hour, really affordably, and make use of all the equipment that we have, and that's completely unique to us. There's nowhere else that's doing that. So it means that it doesn't really matter if they don't keep that first frame, because they can make much more. I figured that if we could, or if I could do a good enough job of creating this thing, people would want to be a part of it, and that should help pay for itself. So I ran a crowdfunding campaign, which I launched in 2011 in November, and I established that what we needed was in and around £40,000 to get started. And then when the time came, launched the campaign, and we raised the full £40,000 in 5.5 days. On the 4-day course that we teach, where the students build a bike for Africa, day one they get straight in using the torch, doing some brazing. That's often the bit which people are most intimidated by, so we throw them in at the deep end. Then towards the end of the afternoon they start working on the material, so that the actual tubing that they're using to make their bicycle frame, and begin shaping those and cutting those to length. And day 2 they do more of that, and by the end of day 2 it started to look like a bicycle, this thing. So these tubes have been arranged and attached to one another, temporarily at least. Day 3 they get more brazing training on more advanced aspects of brazing and more advanced joins. And then the end of day 3 they finish assembling the bicycle bits and pieces, so they're making them and then assembling them together. And day 4 they braze the frame up together, so they make it into a completed bicycle frame. And then we check it for alignment, correct any errors that are there with them, we teach them how. Then they sign the bicycle and then hold it aloft and celebrate the fact that they're finished. The frames are then painted and then branded up, and then we send them to World Bicycle Relief, who distribute those frames once they've then been assembled into working bicycles to different countries within Africa. The Africa bike that the students make is different to regular bikes simply because it's more robust. So it's designed to take quite a lot of loading, so up to 100 kilos on the rear rack, like the pannier rack. Most bikes take 20 kilos. So that's quite a big difference.
And I also like their approach of giving, they teach me, and then I'll provide my bike, my frame will be given to the relief. I've enjoyed a lot. It's been quite a journey, I would say. I've done things that I thought would be easier were harder, and the harder was easier. So still, I think I have a lot to learn, but I'm eager to learn more. I guess I just learned a little bit of how to put a frame together, and I'm thinking that it's just the tip of the iceberg, really, so I'm going to learn much more about this.
One of the biggest challenges for us, we've had a few. The first was living up to people's expectations. You know, I painted a picture of what it was that I was trying to create, and it was quite a bold statement of what we were going to do and how we were going to do it, and I believed in it, and I believe we have lived up to it, but I was my own worst enemy in that, I've made a rod for my own back, and I'm quite critical of myself, and also tend to assume I can do more than I'm currently capable of. So I can overstretch, and that's a really big challenge. You know, the reality is, I mean, it's only me. I own and run the business, and the other guys work for me. And what they want from life largely is to turn up and do their job and enjoy doing that, and then go home. And they live and breathe it, but they don't want it to consume them. But it does consume me, because this is everything. I've got my entire livelihood is on, you know, is based on this. But everything I possibly own, everything, you know, I've invested everything in this. And my pride, you know, as well. I want to do a good job, and I don't want to fail. So that's been really, really challenging, knowing where to draw the line and not biting off more than I can chew. We've got a waiting list of just under 400 people, and that's growing daily. And that's people from all over the world. So over the past 3 weeks, we've had a student from Finland, Germany and Norway. We've got another guy coming from Spain in 2 weeks' time. So it's not just across the country. We're already in talks with a guy from Germany who wants to open a version of the Bicycle Academy in 2014, February. So, I mean, that's really exciting. But a big industry like Brompton, who have spent some time talking with us and come down to visit us and seen the quality of work that we're producing, or that our students are producing in a very short period of time, and they want us to train them. Now that's a huge feather in our cap, because they're the UK's biggest manufacturer of Philippe raised bicycles. In fact, they're pretty much the only one, but they produce 45,000 bikes a year, and they want to grow their business quite significantly. They're not currently selling in China. That's quite a big market, that also really likes stuff with British provenance, you know, so something that's from England or Britain carries more value there. So there's a great deal of potential for them, and the fact that they're willing to invest their time and money in learning from us it's a huge coup for us. I saw a TED lecture by a guy called Dan Pink called What Motivates People, and he talks about autonomy, mastery and purpose as being the only things that matter in someone's life, in their working life, once you remove money. So once money is no longer an issue, so as long as you pay someone enough that they don't have to stress about money, then if they are in an environment where they have autonomy, mastery and purpose, then they flourish, they have a wonderful time, and they do their best work. And I think I have that with the Bicycle Academy.